Netflights.com, sponsors of the William Hunt Trilby Tour.
Welcome back to the Trilby Tour playoff drama here at the Oxfordshire. 4 players over 3 holes for a shot at the title. Omar Butt the favourite after his 18 holes and 38 points, but he's got some quality opposition around him. Here's Richard Simmons to talk us through the first playoff hole.
Yeah, the first hole here in the playoff is actually the first hole on the golf course, and it's a very good opening hole. It's not too tough. It's a par 4, moderate length par 4, plays slightly downhill. And really the key is to find the fairway. As we've already mentioned, the rough here is penal today. You don't want to be messing about in the rough because that's just going to twist around the club and you can lose the ball anywhere. So really the opening tee shot is to take the club that you're comfortable with to find the fairway, maybe a 3-wood or even a rescue today, and that will leave you about a 150, 160 shot, maybe a bit less for the longer hitters, but that's where you want to be hitting from, off the fairway to control your ball on the green.
The story at the first, player by player, went like this. Omar Butt decided aggression was the better part of valour on this occasion. The memory of previous brushes with success on the tour still fresh in his mind. He took the big dog for a walk with some success. From the light rough, he crafted a gem of an approach. The favourite was looking good. But downhill with a lot of left to right did for Omar, and he had to be satisfied with par. But level after 1. Rob Fletcher next, the man from Burton-on-Trent, playing off 3. He looked imperious at times during his regulation round. His tee shot at the first playoff hole, though, had all the signs of a man feeling the heat. He pulled it into one of the fairway bunkers, and it wasn't lying well. Under pressure and under the lip, perfection was required, and so nearly achieved. But the ball refused to leave its master's side. Second time of asking, and a second visit to the sand. Rob's challenge looked over before it had begun. He came away from hole 1 at 2 over, going under fast. Dave Just was a prince amongst kings in this playoff, off 5 and by his own admittance outclassed by the young guns around him. The Hanbury Manor clubman, though, decided he was going to take it to his rivals. Absolute class from the tee was followed by a great shot to the green, which is where Dave was red hot during the day. But a first putting opportunity turned into another. And unfortunately for Dave, yet another. 1 over, left him in 3rd, with much work ahead. The last man away was determined not only to use his tremendous golfing talent, but also his local knowledge in this playoff. Ben Cotton lashed a seemingly fearless drive, straight down the middle. And followed that with a chip that took him inside the ball of Omar Butt. But Ben's a tough man to please, and he knew the putt he left himself. And as they say, never up, never in. Cotton and Butt left the first playoff hole tied for the lead. Both players left to rue missed opportunities. An amazing hole next up. With so much at stake, though, it seemed nobody was going to take the chance on offer from the tee, and so out came the irons, everyone aiming left for the safety of the fairway. Here's Richard again.
It's the typical risk and reward hole, isn't it? I mean, I think it measures 341 from the tee they're playing it at. But if you take the direct line to the green, it's around about a 260 shot. I mean, depending on the wind, there might be some players in the playoff who might fancy that as a go. because it's not the easiest hole to sort of lay up and then hit your pitch across. As I say, it is a risk and reward. The further you can hit your ball off the tee into the fairway, the easier the second shot. But the pin is tucked, the pin is almost off the back right-hand side of the green. It's almost on its way down towards the water, so it's going to be, it's really going to be a hard shot in, and it's going to test them.
And that's what it's all about after all. A test of golf, a test of courage and a test of nerve. But all four decided they didn't like the look of the exam paper. And so it would come down to the short game once again. So what's new? Dave Just was all over it, growing in confidence with every shot. But enough of the softly approach. Omar wanted to go big, and that's just what he did. The gauntlet was well and truly thrown down by the man who just missed out on last year's Trilby Tour Amateur Championship playoff. And so the head-to-head that looked on the cards from the start, Cotton v Butt, was smashed into life. Ben with an anything you can do, I can do just as well type of shot. And he followed it after his trademark post-shot snarl with a great putt. And that left Ben on level par after two. Would it be good enough to lead? Dave followed Ben with his own piece of green magic. He thought this was in. The crowd thought it was in. Bet you did too. Told you he was good with the putter. Dave remained on one over and still in the game. Rob Fletcher also hit a good shot in, and his putt really had to drop, but it didn't, and he had to content himself with a par and fourth place all to himself. Three good putts, and Omar looking to make it four. Rearrange this sentence: in and get. Omar claimed the advantage with one to go. One under after two for the Buckinghamshire star. And didn't he love that one? Omar Butt was heading to the last hole as champion-elect. At the final playoff hole, the drama continued. Rob Fletcher was tidy up the last, but it was all too late, as his attentions turned to a shot at the Trilby Tour International Amateur title. Omar's putt knocked the stuffing out of Ben Cotton. Problems in the sand and then off the fairway left him there for three with too much to do if Omar and Dave could keep it together. Omar couldn't keep it together though. He hooked his tee shot, didn't get enough of his second, and suddenly there was a but over Omar's title hopes. He was also there in three. Dave Just had a shot on the last and he was determined to make it count. A sweet strike from the sand left him in almost exactly the same place on the green that he had been in regulation. For Omar, the demand was clear: hole this one for the title. The golfing gods said no. The dream was still alive for Dave, and he really was in the same place on the green that he had been just a few hours before. So it was back to the memory banks from the left lip and hit it to take the playoff back to the 18th tee. Well remembered, Mr. Just. Omar still had to tidy up though, never easy with disappointment in the air. But he did what he had to do, and it was back down 18 to do it all again. And Omar Butt still couldn't stuff a Trilby Tour title into his kit bag. Let the